It's that time of year again, ladies and gentlemen. The time where Tomica puts Mattel to shame by releasing a really cool special edition set of Lightning McQueen and Mater for Lightning McQueen Day, which annually is 9/5, September 5th. Obviously, McQueen's number there. And yeah, just in the nick of time, here is Tomica's 2025 Lightning McQueen Day Special Edition Combo Wombo. Now, usually it is Lightning McQueen and Mater, but we have had some deviations over the last 7 years since they've started doing this, where they also gave us a Mac in one of those years. I think this was the 15th anniversary of Cars 1, so 2021. I think that's why they went with the gold. And we also got Mac. And there were a couple of the earlier years where they just gave us a Lightning McQueen. I think there was like a multi-pack in there as well. But it's kind of evened out over the last 4 years to be just a set of McQueen and Mater, which you can see here in the background. I reviewed all of the other sets since 2021. Well, obviously I did do McQueen, Mater, and Mac. And then I think it went 2022, 3, and this was last year for the Venomized set. So check out all those reviews linked in the description below, and some of them in the card suggestion pop up in the top right hand corner as well. This year they did a glow in the dark version, kind of. The tires glow in the dark. The paint jobs themselves, I don't think they do, but they obviously are meant to look kind of neon, dark cruising vibes. They're awesome. Like, they're in this nice dark purple with the pinstriping neon decals. I'm a big fan of how they look on the box here, so let's dive in. Don't want to waste any more time. I just bought these off eBay from Japan. They weren't that expensive, all things considered. You know, the fact that they're coming from a foreign country. Shipping's not too bad. Didn't notice anything too crazy with the whole tariff situation either. I love they always use this cool 95 Lightning McQueen Day logo, and that's a foil emboss on the box here. You could feel the kind of engraving of the 95 foil there. I'm not sure what all of this says. I'm sure this says something like tires glow in the dark. You could see 2025 as a number there amidst all the Japanese characters. If you can read Japanese, if you do know what all this says, please let me know in the comment section below. But I'm assuming it's basically Lightning McQueen Day, glow in the dark, 2025 edition. Something along those lines. That's usually how they run it. I like how they show you different angles of the car on the box. Sometimes they'll give you like an animated version of the character like they did with the gold ones. But usually when it's these really wild paint jobs that didn't appear, or, you know, obviously Disney and Pixar have no reason to animate themselves, you just get the die cast, which is totally fine with me. Usually there's like a really cool Mickey Mouse logo on these things. Yep, there it is. I love this. It's so like vintage. Disney Enterprises Inc. You have the dog logo. Don't know what that means either. Customer service is only available in case this project is purchased in Japan and inquired from Japan Domestic. So I do not get any customer service. These are made in Vietnam, it tells us. Yeah, looks pretty good. For Mater here, the packaging is the exact same. Just, you know, different text, different imagery. Yeah, the flames on the back of Mater look incredible. That's usually a spot on Mater that is always untouched, especially by Mattel. Mattel doesn't like to venture back there unless like it's a broad, like swooping decal. But I mean, just a standalone decal, usually not. Tomica, though, sometimes will put something back there, which I appreciate. No need to time lapse this one. I'm just going to gently open up these boxes here. I would like to keep them in pretty good shape because I do like how they look. I think they are attractive packaging. It's a difficult feat, though. I'm trying to be surgical. I'm trying to be surgical. I'm trying to be surgical. Not too bad. It's just hard to unlodge the tab without bending it. And, you know, it's not the biggest deal in the world if it bends a little bit. I'm just trying to keep the main integrity of the box upheld. So you kind of got to, like, pinch it a little bit so you can get your finger in there and then push the tab back. Bam, that one was really surgical. And then, yeah, take them out of their little baggies here. the baggies that totally protect them while they're in there. All right. Let me toss these baggies in the box. I love that about Tomica. There's easy cleanup and a lot less waste, but not very shelf display worthy at Target. You know, it would be very strange to just walk into the Target cars aisle and see a bunch of boxes, but that is how it is in Japan. They have a unique way of displaying them. But man, these look incredible. Holy cow. They look way better than I thought because they're actually purple. They're not a dark blue. I thought they were more of a dark blue, and that's why I brought out Blu-ray McQueen here. I thought he looked kind of similar to how McQueen looked on the box there. But as you can see, yeah, they are much more of a deep, dark purple instead of kind of the indigo that it's kind of depicted as on the packaging, the boxes. Then you have metallic stripes on their white tires. Wow. All right, guys, let's just start here with McQueen. I am really liking these. These are probably some of my favorites. They're definitely better than last year and the year before that, being the blue ones. So yeah, like I said, neon decals. Medicated Rust-eze bumper ornament in a bright yellow. Just kind of a stenciling so you could see the purple behind it. And they kind of do like this haze effect around the decal as well. Not sure how great that looks. I don't know. I need to see how they do it on the rest of them, if they do it, that is. These aren't the clearest decals in the world. The yellow doesn't do it really much favors, but I understand why they went with yellow. But yeah, that should be like Piston Cup and then Clutch Aid, Revolting, a couple others. But yeah, look at these tires. Basically like a purple white wall, but the tires are all white, like just incredible. Those will probably look great glowing in the dark. Then you have a very standard traditional 95 logo, but behind it, the neon blue and purple flames. Oh my God, that looks incredible, guys. I love how they just kind of did the outline of all the details, decals, and so you could see the purple behind it. And so it pops so much more on the darker color paint. You have the Lightning McQueen signature there, 95 on the roof with that blue glow around it. Not sure again if I like that or if I would have rather them just not do this haze effect. And it doesn't really matter all that much. This one looks, I don't know, maybe a little, I don't know. They both don't look great. There's something off. Like the center here just looks a little strange. It's like they have a little bit of like dirt almost in between the numbers. That just looks a little strange to me. That is a very blurry Rust-eze decal there on the spoiler. You have the Rust-eze logo here with the gas cap at the top of it. On the back, you have medicated bumper ornament 95. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Taillights look a little cartoonish, not really within the spirit of the rest of the diecast, but Tomica sometimes will find themselves struggling with certain elements like either the expression sometimes or headlights or detail. It's in the back and whatnot, but I do really like the expression here on Lightning McQueen. Mater's is okay. And I guess, these are kind of the expressions that they'll use from time to time. Not always, but, McQueen's is very similar to the blue 95-day McQueen they did a couple years ago, but different than the one last year. So at least they're keeping things fresh. Because then here you have even a slightly different expression on the gold McQueen. All right, yeah, very cool. Oh, wow. Was not expecting the base to be a transparent plastic either. You can kind of see like inside. It's pretty wild. Cars Lightning McQueen, made in Vietnam, Tomica. Very strange looking base here. Purple transparent. Wonder if they did that to enhance the glow effect. I'm not sure. We'll see how this comes into play. But I really like it. It's a lot more interesting than just a standard black base like they usually do. So, Tomica impressing us yet again. I don't mean to just glaze Tomica. Like, I understand their limitations. They barely release any new cars, right? They're kind of like the Disney Store. They do release a little bit more than the Disney Store release nowadays. It never used to be the case. But Mattel is constantly pumping out new cars, whether it be the new stuff we want or new stuff that we don't really care for. and they have all the sidelines and play sets and stuff. Tomica is just like a couple new cars every few months, so I understand, you know. They're hard to compare, right? But right now, and historically, you know, when Tomica does do something, it's pretty good. It packs a punch. It's like quality over quantity. Mattel, they might do, you know, 15, you know, new releases in a year between like GRC and, you know, maybe next year Race and Rescue, you get Marshall's or Jonathan Gearson, right? Kind of a mixed bag. None of those, I don't know if there might be some people out there, maybe even myself included, that would take these over any one of those new releases. Like, I mean, I do like the Rally Race Chick Kicks a lot. Like, it's really good, but I mean, these ones, at least they're celebrating something meaningful in 95 Day, McQueen Day. I know that's just something that they kind of conceived over the last 6-7 years since Cars 3 came out. But guys, I just like when companies make an attempt to do something special with their IPs. And Tomica always does this. It's a tradition now. Mattel, you know, they did a couple Pixar Fest stuff in there. We'll see how they handle the 20th anniversary next year. I'm sure Tomica, I could count on Tomica to definitely do something, right? So, I don't know. That's just kind of my 2 cents on it. Anyways, here is Mater. And we know these are in like a 1/64 scale, so more similar to Hot Wheels. But even that, we all know that McQueen really shouldn't be that big compared to Mater. So Tomica still tends to downsize the larger cars in the line, I guess I should say. And we now know that Mattel is doing that a little bit too with like Red and Morgan Martins and whatnot. But yes, not a big fan of the 95 logo here on the hood, but at least it doesn't have the dirt like lodged in between the two numbers. You can see what I'm talking about now. I compare that to that, and this one's a lot cleaner, but it still looks a little just off. You know, I don't know. It looks very fan-made to just slap a 95 on Mater's hood. Not a decal I would have put on there. I feel like I would have left that off. I don't know. I know it's celebrating 95 Day, but I know, you know, you left the Tow Mater Towing and Salvage decal here on the side, so you needed to put the 95 somewhere. I don't know. Just kind of my 2 cents on it. But yeah, they did put that there, add the haze effect, the glow effect. It's almost like a graffiti vibe. And then you have these flames here on the back, which looks really good. You do have the same style wheels, or not necessarily wheels, but tires. Black/gray towing cables, almost like a red siren up here. That's pretty cool. Black and white for the stripes, the caution stripes here, and then the A113 license plate. The best thing about these guys is just like the paint. And I mean, I'm anticipating the glow effect to be pretty cool as well. You get the transparent base on Mater. Some of the decals aren't great on both McQueen and Mater, but there are so many elements to these guys that make up for that. So I'm going to turn off all the lights, and we're going to see how these guys behave in the darkness. Whoa! Yeah, the wheels, the tires, they glow all right. Now, I will say, when I turned off the lights, sat back down in my chair, went to record, they were not glowing like this. I had to put them up against the light for not that long, probably like 10 seconds each, just held them up against a light bulb, and now they look incredible. Like, they are absolutely popping. They are creating so much light. You could see it on the ground there. This might be some of the most reactive glow-in-the-dark material I have ever seen on anything. Not just Cars items over the years. You know, those mini racers from 6 years ago, Tim Treadless, Fabulous Doc Hudson, Luigi, some weird glow-in-the-dark mini racers. Of course, the new glow racers that they've been releasing over the last few years here, which I actually have on deck. Here is Mater. And here is McQueen. The problem with these guys is that only the yellow decals glow. So you have all the gaps where the red paint is. Those just kind of look like more darkness. And here you know that nothing else glows except for the tires. And it honestly works in their benefit just because of how, yeah, I mean, it just looks incredible, guys. You guys can see what I'm trying to get at here. The tires speak for themselves. They weren't messing around. These things pop. not just over the camera as well, but in real life too. They're looking great. So yeah, I'll turn my little lamp back on here so we can finish off the review. Mr. Docketer After Dark is back. Oh, I kind of like this vibe. So yeah, quality looks pretty clear. Everything's dark in the background. All right, guys. Yeah, what the hell else? These guys glow amazingly as advertised. Like they show you on the package, the tires glow. They don't say anything else. The paint jobs are great. I feel like it allowed them to make some really cool looking graphics with the neon flames and, you know, a Mater there as well. Big fan. In my opinion, they are better than last year's kind of ink set. I don't really know how I would describe them. I joked that they look Venomized, and they came out right when that third Venom movie was coming out last year. But it's, yeah, more like an ink kind of calligraphy type situation. It was kind of strange, but creative. Gotta give them credit for that. Now, I think this was the one that came out in 2023. Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, creative. It's fine. Blue. I like blue. Whatever. It's kind of like a Lightyear set almost, if you know what I'm saying. Now, this set was really, really great, honoring, you know, Japanese culture with the cherry blossoms and Mount Fuji and all that. The gold and the pink really works. But I'm going to say now, after the glow test, I like these ones for 2025 better. And then if we were just taking, you know, car by car for the gold ones, I like the glow ones here better. Now, I want to say that again. I like the glow ones better than the gold ones. However, if you were saying which 95-day set, because Mac was included with this, that's a big difference. I would say I would take this set here for 2021 over the glow ones here for 2025, but that's only because they added in Mac there to really push them over the edge. But man, these guys are beautiful. Some of Tomica's best releases. I do have all of the rescue ambulatory cars that they have put out since 2025 began, a little bit before then. There's a lot of them, guys. There's like Cruz, Jackson, McQueen, Mater, Fillmore, Ramon, Luigi, and Guido. I might have just named them all somehow. I will do a video, and there's a Mac as well. I'm going to do a video on all of those at once. I think they're finally done with that line, so I'm just going to do them all together. Tomica stuff doesn't really warrant its own individual videos. Not as many people are interested as they are in the Mattel stuff, but they should be, because Tomica's putting out some fire releases. All right, guys. Bye now.